Hello and welcome to Pearls of Parmadice. My name is Courtney and I'm coming to you from Parma, Ohio, where I live with my husband, Mason, and all of our yarn. Today is Friday, March 27th. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm so glad that you're joining me, and if you're returning, welcome back. It has been a minute. It's been a month. Oh my goodness. It's been a month. So you can find me at various places on the internet. That's going to be linked down below. I right now am most active I'm most active nowhere, honestly. But I hopefully, I'll get out of my little funk. I feel like I'm coming out of it. And I'll be most active in the Pearls of Parmadice Discord chat. If you would like to be added, just feel free to send me a message. Either on Ravelry is probably the best place to reach me these days, or on Instagram. Send me a message on one of those two platforms and I will get you added. We just have it, by link, like by an invite, so that we don't get bots and spam and all that gunk. If we are running, I am running the Giant Mini Mal 2026. This is, I think, our third year of doing this, and it's super fun. Use your scraps, use your minis. Your project does not have to be all minis or all scraps. If you just use one little scrap or mini in a large project, enter it. It's just about using up those little bits. We consider a mini leftover scrap something that was less than 50 grams at the beginning of the project. So, what you're using. The project certainly can weigh more than 50 grams. Am I making sense? Hopefully. If you need further details, they're on my Instagram page, or I've talked about this at length in previous episodes. But I'm especially bringing it up today because we are nearing, it's going to be one of those, guys. We are nearing the end of quarter one, so I will be drawing for quarter one prizes April 1st for January through March. So if you have not put in your entries, make sure to get those in. Feel free to double dip into other people's make-alongs. I don't care. Just have fun, knit away. It's great. I don't know. I'm kind of debating on whether to announce winners here or just reach out to the winners on Ravelry. Do you all have a preference? I like announcing winners here because then you guys get to see what they made. Oh, and the prizes. We're just doing pattern prizes this year. And I'll do 2 winners this quarter. So go over and enter in the Ravelry group, Ravelry finished object thread and stuff. But maybe I'll continue to do that. But I think starting this round of winners, I will announce the winners here, but I will go ahead and reach out. If you win, I will go ahead and reach out to you on April 1st over on Ravelry. I will send you a message letting you know that you won. And then you can let me know what your pattern prize is, just to alleviate, hoping somebody sees the podcast and responds and all that. So that's what we'll do. We'll just make the decision. All right. Let's just get into it. Before I get into the knitting, you might have noticed, you might not, I don't know how evident this is going to be, that things are a little bit different. So 2 weeks ago, I did not podcast because I film everything on my phone. I edit on my phone. I upload from my phone. This is a 100% cell phone podcast. And probably for about a year, my battery life has been kind of failing. All those things when your phone is starting to reach its senior year, its end of life. And that started about a year ago. But I really like to use things until they're just done, and if I can repair things, I prefer to repair. So a year ago when I noticed the battery life and stuff really going, I did reach out to some local places to see if there's a way that I could just get a battery replacement. Like, everything else was fine. I really loved that phone. And nowhere could do that. So it was like, okay, well, and Mason has the same phone, like, we got them at the same time. So we're like, well, we're having the same issues. We'll just wait, and wait it out. And that worked up until a couple of weeks ago, the day before I podcasted. I was sitting at work in a very important meeting, making my case about something pretty serious. And I look over and my phone is lighting up hot pink and power cycling. I walked into that meeting with 24% battery. I walked out with 1%, just enough to send a text message that I needed to send. And that was it. And I was like, oh no, that is not good. I charged it. It charged up and stuff, but I was charging it all the time, basically. Anyways, so we kind of made the decision that it would not be wise to podcast last week because, one, I didn't think my phone could actually handle it. And two, I really needed my phone to last long enough for us to get a new one. So I will spare you the boring details of trying to get a new phone and what a headache that always is. But anyway, I have a new phone. I don't totally know what I'm doing with it. I don't know what the quality is going to be like. When we went to the phone store and we talked to the guy about what was blah, 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 I said my two big things that I needed were a really good camera on the phone, both front facing and rear facing. And I really needed it to be like solid enough to handle Pokemon Go. Priorities. These are my priorities, guys. Pokemon Go and podcasting. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. From what I can see, the image quality looks pretty good. I have no idea what the sound quality is going to be like. So I apologize if I am too soft or too loud. I don't know if I'll have to get a microphone. I don't know. We're just going to try this. So those were my technical difficulties. Thank you for your understanding and patience. It's been a month. It's been a month. I have been knitting and we are going to talk about it. So firstly, let's talk about what I'm wearing. I have no finished objects, just FYI. We'll talk about that too. This is my olive cardigan by Locatelli. I knit this, ages and ages ago. Maybe 5-6 years ago, something like that. The yarn is Tina's Twisted Fibers. I know it used to be called like Ultra Fingering base. I don't know if that's still what this base is called. But at the time I bought it, it was like the Ultra Fingering and the colorway is Butterfly Wings. And this is a long cardigan. I bought, I think, 5 skeins of this, something like that. I bought a lot and I ended up with a lot left over. So just keep that in mind. I wore this for a reason today. You will see why later. All right. So that's what I'm wearing. Let's get into works in progress. I have worked on I've done a little bit on a lot of things. So I don't know how interesting some of these are going to be, but I feel like most of the first quarter, I was really focused on one project that is now in timeout. We'll talk about it. And so, I don't know. I did a big whip episode, I think, at the beginning of the year. So some of these, this is the first time they've been worked on since then. So I'm just going to show them because why not? So the first project I'll show is, where did it go? There is stuff all over my couch. This is not that one. There it is. Okay. So this is one I cast on. Look at these cute little foxes. I cast this on, worked on it like the day I cast it on, and then promptly stopped. And I cast this on May 23rd. of last year. It is the Cloud Pillow by Matthew Schrank. I'm using size US 8 needles, there's only one size to make. And I am using, I love this yarn in the colorway Graybeard. It's rescue yarn that somebody gave me that was headed for the trash, I believe. So anyways, the pattern is in this book. I have a bunch of these. I bought them when I was like very new to knitting. These like 60 quick knit whatever books. But I haven't knit a lot out of them. So this is good because several of my whips that got work are from these books. And so this is what it will look like when it's done, something like that. And I got kind of a lot done on this. I thought that a lot of these things are going to be finished objects by the time I saw you all next, but none of them are. So let's talk about why this one is not. Get this out. So here is the yarn that I have left after what I've knitted. And I got the front panel of this done. And this just looks weird. It just looks funny. It looks weird. It is the front panel of the cloud. So if you can see with my, this one will focus. Okay, my last film, my camera didn't focus like that. This is very exciting. Okay, this is an excellent update. So I got from that banana and did the whole rest of this, which I know it doesn't look like anything. The reason that I stopped, which I did cast on, it's really not exciting. I cast on the back panel, literally cast it on. Maybe I knit one row, it looks like, and that's all. So the reason that I stopped is because the instructions for the back panel, this might be a me thing. Do you ever read the instructions for a pattern and they don't make sense to you and you assume that you know better than the designer? And occasionally I do know better than the designer and it's a mistake. It's an error, especially with books. I find that books tend to have a lot of errors that sometimes Ravelry patterns don't. I think part of that is when there is an error in a Ravelry pattern, they can go fix it and release a new version or whatever. In a book, like it's print, you can't do that. Or sometimes they'll have errata. And I think that's how you pronounce it, errata, whatever. When they have errors and they correct them on the website. I did look, and this pattern allegedly has no errors. But the way that they tell you to knit the second panel just doesn't make any sense to me, because they're like, yeah, same as the first, reverse the two inside bumps. But the two outside bumps, can you see? Like, they are not the same. So I'm not going to reverse it makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. So I don't know. I'm now in like analysis paralysis mode. I looked through other projects on Ravelry to see if other people made notes about that. No one did. So that's where we are. This is kind of on hold, on timeout until a day when I have the brain space to figure that all out. My other thing that I could do, which I had not thought of until right this second, now that I'm talking about it, you just knit stockinette straight for quite a while. I could always get that part done because that will be the same on both. Pop a lifeline in and then try what the pattern says. And then if it doesn't work out, I could just rip back to that lifeline. And that's not even that much knitting. I should just do that. That's what I should do. I'm probably going to do that. When? I don't know. So anyway, that is my first work in progress. This is good. We're working things out today. I'm hoping now that I'm saying this out loud, this is a peek into my stream of consciousness. I feel like I have better ideas when I talk them out loud. Maybe this will happen with other projects too, where I will figure out the solution to my stalled whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, there we go. That's whip number 1. Let's see. What's next? We're just going to go through my stack. My Solvik shirt. This is a pattern by Skein Knits. I cast this on May 8th of last year. It was my birthday cast on. My birthday is 6 weeks from today. And this has not gotten very far. Can I finish this by my birthday? I don't know. Do I care? I don't know. We'll see. I am using size US 9 needles, which is a 5.5 millimeter. I am making the size number 6, and I am using K&C Knit and Crochet Essential Cotton in the colorway Golden Coast. And that yarn is from Joanne's RIP. And this is like the world's worst photo because printer, and it's been wrinkled in my bag for forever. But it's this top. Is there a picture? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're just going to show it. So I did work on this, and I wanted to work on this more, but it's a little bit bulky and heavy. There's a lot of skeins of balls of this yarn in here in this bag. And most of my knitting is done on the go. So I haven't taken it with me. All right. So here is what I have so far. So the last time you saw this, the front, you do, the front and the back, you're top down. You do those flat. The whole thing is flat, but it's confusing, which is another why I have not worked on this. And yeah, you knit the front panel flat till you reach where you're gonna, join for the arms or whatever, or the body. I'm rusty. I'm so rusty. And then you just do the back in garter until you reach the same point. And so, as you can see with my little birthday cake, I only knit like an inch, but I figured I hadn't shown this in a while since my whip episode, so I'd pull it out and show you. And then I can move that progress keeper too. So yeah, that's all I've got. I do feel like once I get this part done and I am knitting in the round flat, I need to get that figured out. That is what is really stalling me. I think I'm using, because I could take some of these balls of yarn out and leave them at home. I'm using these as an excuse. I do think this will go pretty quickly once I get to that point. And it's so pretty and it's cotton and it would be perfect for spring and summer. And I desperately need more tops and stuff in my wardrobe. So that's my Solvik shirt. Not a lot to say. I just have a lot of projects that I need to sit down and go through and read the pattern and take 10 minutes and understand what I'm doing. I just haven't had the brain space or the time or the energy, but we're getting there. We're going to get there. It's fine. It's just the knitting. It's just knitting, just strings and sticks. Okay. We have a fan favorite now. Striped Snake by Sarah Ann Thompson, better known as Zipper, my 2025 book snake. Yeah, I know. Cast this one on January 14th, 2025. I am knitting him on a US size 5, 3.75 millimeter needle. I think he's going to be 64 colored stripes. I did look the other day, and I believe he's 64 colored stripes is what he'll end up being. And I'm just using various DK weight scraps and fingering weight held double. So, oh my goodness, buddy, you're getting tangled. Okay. So here he is. And he did not get a ton of progress made, but I did get a black stripe and a colored stripe in on Sunday. So part of it is I am stuffing him completely with leftover yarn ends, like the ends that you snip off of skeins when you wind them. After I weave in my ends, those ends that are cut, instead of throwing them away or whatever, I am stuffing him with them. So that's why this is going so slowly. I both have to wait for enough ends to stuff him to keep going, as well as I need to knit so that I can stuff him. It's like a whole thing. So anyways, he was on hold for a long time because I didn't have enough ends. Now I have a bunch of ends, so we are good. So he got another couple of stripes. So I think the colorful stripes are going to be, I think, like I said, 64 stripes. Each stripe represents a book that I read in 2025. I believe this one, I don't remember the author. I believe it was called Happy Healthy ADHD, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what book this was. So yeah, not a ton of progress, but Zipper just wanted to come say hi. He hasn't been out in a while, and you can see how long he is getting. I've enjoyed working on him. He is so fun. I really want him to be done for a lot of reasons, but mainly because I want him out. I want him on my bookshelf or something, or on the back of my couch. I don't know where he's going to live yet, or maybe coiled up somewhere in a basket. I don't know, but I want him out on display. So, but who knows how long that will take, and that's okay. It is a-okay. So that is Zipper. He's going to go back in his tote bag he's living in. There you go. He's hanging out in there. Okay, next up we have the Advent Mini Scarf by Lizzie Schreiner. This one I am using, again, US 5, 3.75 millimeters. There's just one size for this. And I am using the Fangirl Fibers Hocus Pocus Halloween Countdown from, I don't know, a couple of years ago. And it's living in this, I want to say this was, I don't know where I got this bag. Cherry Pie Cottage, maybe. I don't think they even make bags anymore. But a vintage Halloween bag. I didn't put when I cast this on, I guess. I guess I need to add that. I believe I cast it on October 1st of last year. And this one did not get a ton of work, but I did wind up and add in the next color. I started adding that in. So again, not a lot, but that's okay. It did get worked on. It got a little bit. It's got a new little bit of color. And this is another one. If I just wound up my minis and sat down and worked on it and did like a color block a day, I would be done so quick. But oh well, that's okay. It's not a big deal. And scarf weather's almost done anyway, so it'll be ready maybe for next scarf season. So that's that. I just wanted to show you guys mainly because I think that this color is going to be so, so pretty. And I'm excited to see how that looks. Maybe next time I'll have more done on it. This is a really good social knitting project. I just have not felt very social lately. And I haven't had a lot of social knitting needs. Okay, next up. And we're moving through these quickly because a lot of them, there's not much to say. And there's a couple that there is a lot to say. And I've got a couple of new things. So that's why I'm moving through these pretty quickly. These are the Simple Skip socks. I am knitting these for my husband, Mason. This pattern is by Adrienne. I cast these on December 21st of last year. So it's my winter solstice cast on. I'm using size US 2 needles, making the men's size medium, which is 64 stitches. And I am using Patons Kroy socks FX in the colorway Cadet colors. And again, I just got a little bit done just from Kirby up. So I may have already picked up, I can't tell. I think I'd already picked up for the gusset. So I just got just the slightest bit done. I don't know. Oh my goodness, look at the focus on this. It focuses so nicely. Okay, maybe this new camera is not such a bad thing. But yeah, so I'm still on the first sock. He's so patient. They'll get done when they get done, and he's so willing to wait. So it's fine. It's fine. I do need to work on these, but again, we probably only have a few more weeks or so where wearing knit socks will even be a thing until fall. I mean, we might have some chilly evenings or something, but I don't know. He's not in a huge hurry to have these. He has worn the 2 pairs that I knit him this year quite a bit, or last year quite a bit. So I do want to get these done so that he has another pair to add to his rotation whenever that happens. And this is living in a Molly Klein design little gnome bag. Mason bought it for me a couple of years ago. And I just love these little guys. All right, next we have another project that I barely did anything on, but I'm going to show it anyway. I think I knit like an inch on this. So this is my Hygge and Hearth Advent Scarf. It is by Samantha Troia. I cast this on December 1st, 2025. This was my Advent project that I clearly did not finish. I am knitting this on a size US 4 3.5 millimeter needle, and using 24 minis. I think there were a couple of color options for this, like maybe a 3 color or 2 color or something, but I'm doing 24 mini skein option. And I am using the Fangirl fibers, whatever the Christmas in a Magic Kingdom Advent was from, like 2021, 2022, something like that. It's an old Advent, but I'm loving it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show this. Am I showing you guys the wrong side? Yes, I am. Let's flip that around. Okay, there we go. So again, I only probably did an inch or so on this. I do have a progress keeper. So I knit from the rainbow up, so about an inch-ish. But I finished off this blue mini, so I need to wind up the next mini skein. This is also really great social knitting, but again, haven't done much socializing lately, so haven't needed a social project. But yeah, I'm loving how this is turning out. I would love to have this done, but you know, whatever. I'm enjoying it. It's pretty. It's living in a J&J Craft Co bag. I really like their bags. I've gotten quite a few of them. And it's Santa and a reindeer. And yeah, it's March, but it's an Advent project, so it's living in a Christmas bag, and that's fine. We've got the Halloween project in a Halloween bag. You know, it's all good. Okay. This one, I'll be honest with you, I think I worked on it, but I'm actually not sure. So I guess we'll talk about it either way, because no, I did work on it, I think. So this is just living in a really falling apart bag that I got from like a Lovecraft sorter at some point. Just what's this material? Organza? One of those bags. And this is the Argyle Cardigan by Karen King Garlinghouse. This one is in this 60 more quick baby knits. Is this it? Yes. Let me see if I can show you the picture of what it will look like when it is done, because you will not be able to tell from what I have knit. So that's the cardigan. Very cute, very cute. And I'm just making this to donate. You know, I don't have kids, but I like knitting baby things because they go fast, and it's a great way to use up some acrylic that I don't necessarily love and want out of my stash. It's just personally not my favorite. Totally fine if you love that. That is fine. More power to you. It's just not my personal favorite to knit with. So it's a great way to get that used up and out of stash. I cast this on February 1st, 2026. I didn't even talk about my sweater, very loose sweater make along. So also, if you're knitting a sweater or a garment of any kind, Chatter Thread on Ravelry, pop something in there. I'll draw a pattern prize or two April 1st from that as well. So super loosey-goosey sweater mal, garment mal. So whatever. And that's because I'm doing this kind of in celebration of I'm casting on a new garment every month on the 1st of the month. I'm not finishing any of them apparently, but that's okay. So cast this on February 1st. I am knitting this on a size US 5 3.75 millimeter needle and a US 3 3.25 millimeter needle. And I am using Stylecraft DK that I'm pretty sure I got from Lovecrafts. Could even have come in that organza bag. Nope, I guess I did not work on this. Or did I? I don't know. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But there we go. We've got Cruella on there. I don't know. I really did think that I worked on this. Maybe I did, and I just added the progress keeper when I was done. I don't know. So if you have seen this little bit of brown that's the back panel, you're seeing it again. I think I'm knitting this size 6 months. I don't have that noted here, and I'm not sure why I don't. I think it's on my Ravelry project page though. So if you're really interested in the size and need to know right now, you could head over there and find out, maybe, hopefully. This might be a one size pattern too. I feel like it might have been one size in only 6 months. I don't know. Clearly, it's been a while since I have worked on that. But I figured I would bring it up because I thought I worked on it. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, next up is a new cast on, which is living in this bag that I got from a friend who no longer makes bags. And it's very springy. So this one is the Serenita shawl by Susana Lobos Garcia. I cast this on last Friday, March 20th, as my spring equinox cast on. I am knitting this on a US size 7, 4.5 millimeter needle, and I am using Bewitched Pigments. Hopefully I put the correct base. I think this is their Charmed DK. It actually doesn't say. I'm pretty sure this is their Charmed DK base, I think. Oh no, it's not. I see the base right here. Wow, I can't read. Enchantment is the base. So this is 100% superwash merino. Oh, so maybe this isn't DK. Maybe this is a worsted. Anyway, it's their enchantment base. I'll need to go fix that on my Ravelry page. And the colorway is the Lovers. And it's this really pretty tonal, almost a solid. Just gorgeous, like wine color. I feel like it's showing up a little bit brighter on the screen than it is in real life. But it is really stunning. I do not have much at all done on this. I just cast it on. I had other stuff going on that day, so we've got a real little tiny, I'm not even 100% sure which side is the right side. Little baby. So I might be showing you the wrong side. Actually I can tell. Never mind, it's this side. There we go. Oh my gosh, look at that focus. Look at that. I have this tiny little cast on tab going for the shawl. But I've been itching to knit a shawl And, you know, every month I'm casting on a garment. And so for my spring equinox cast on, I really debated on what to cast on. And I have in my craft chaos room, which is a disaster. That's why I don't film in there. I have an entire pile of project bags with yarn and patterns inside ready to go. I mean, they need wound, but, you know, like together for projects. I have like a whole stack of them because Courtney, I don't even know, 2024 or 2025 Courtney, I don't know. She thought this was a great idea because she was ambitious and I don't know. She didn't know 2026 Courtney. She just didn't know her. And that was fine. I like having everything together, but the problem is, a lot of my project bags are in this like limbo use where they've got yarn for a project in them ready to go with the pattern, but they're just not in rotation. So I thought, well, I'll just grab the top project off of that. I don't know what it is. This was the top one. I thought this looks springy. Let's do this. And that's what it was. And I'm really excited. I've been itching to knit a shawl and yeah, so that's really nice. Okay, next up we have, oh, there it is. It's going to be one of those. I have another new cast on. This was my March 1st garment. This is the Garden Rose cardigan by Rosemary Drysdale. It is from this book, 60 Quick Knits for Beginners. I'll show you the picture in a moment. I cast this on March 1st as my March 1st garment cast on. I am using size US 7 4.5 millimeter needles on this. And the yarn I'm using is some kind of acrylic white DK I have had in my stash for, I don't know, nearing a decade, something like that. It's been in my stash a very long time. And then Stylecraft Special DK and the colorway lipstick, which has been in my stash 5-6 years. I'm trying to think. So the whole thing, I was going to knit a hat. I did end up knitting a hat for a relative's baby. And, you know, it was COVID and I was ordering all my yarn online and I just could not get the right shade of red. It took me forever ordering all different shades of red till I got the right one. But I finally did, and it was not this one. So I ended up with all these shades of red, and I suppose I could have returned them, but that seemed like a hassle, and I was like, well, I'll use them. But then I didn't, and now I am trying to use those. So this is that lipstick, and yeah, it is really bright, and it is a red, but it almost like could pass. It's showing up brighter on the screen than it is in real life, but not by much. So it almost could pass for a hot pink. Like I could see where somebody would look at this and think it was hot pink. It is definitely red, but it's like borderline. So this is what I have so far. And I didn't have a lot of time that day either. I don't remember why. It's a Sunday, so I don't know. Probably just doing other stuff. But I had a lot of fun with this little bit that I knit. I think I'm going to really enjoy this sweater. It's a cute little striped baby sweater, baby cardigan. I need to write down what size I'm knitting for this as well, because I also don't remember. This was on my Make 9 from last year that I just then didn't do. I think I knit one thing for my Make 9, and that's fine because life was a lot different when I made my Make 9 versus, you know, like 3 months into last year. But that's the cardigan. And I debated on whether to make the white the main. That's what I originally was going to do with the red stripes. But I don't know. Then when I went to knit it, I changed my mind. And I think that's fine. I do feel like you're not going to see the seed stitch quite as much as you would if I had knit that on the red, but I'm okay with it. Also, it's for a baby. And to me, having white cuffs, ribbing, and a collar and button band is maybe not the greatest idea. And just those pops of white in between might be better. So anyways, that was my March 1st garment cast on. All right, now we are going to get into the discussion stuff. I looked at the time and I was like, oh, we're not doing bad. Yes, we are. Yeah, we are, because this is where we're going to discuss. I realized I forgot to bring part of this over, but that's okay because, yeah. So let's talk about the blanket in the room. Obviously, I do not have a finished log cabin blanket this week. I thought that I would the last time we chatted. I have all the colored squares finished, and I did start knitting the borders on the knit borders on the squares. Let me give you pattern info first, and then we'll talk. So this is the Learn to Knit a Log Cabin blanket. I'm going to insert a picture of the colored squares all laid out here. I cast this, and it's by Stacey Perry. I cast this on either early 2020 or late 2019. That's important. I am knitting this on a size US 7 needle, and I am making a 5x5 blanket. So 5 squares across, 5 squares down. I am using various worsted weight acrylic scraps. This is my oldest whip. You know what? I don't know how to... Oh, there is a pause button. I'm going to pause. I'm going to grab the part that I forgot to grab because I realized I do need that to talk about it. So hang on just a second. Okay. So I had talked last time about how I was a little bit concerned about the amount of yarn. Maybe I didn't. Yes, I think I did. It doesn't matter. I was concerned about the amount of yarn that I had projected for the borders and stuff. And I had kind of talked through, if I had enough, it was no big deal. If I didn't, I had another backup plan. I don't think I have enough of either of those yarns. So let me show you. I knit complete borders, and mind you, these are inner squares, so they each get just 5 garter ridge strips. The outer squares, the outer borders, are 10 garter ridge strips, and then the inner borders are 5. I don't know if this is going to make sense. Hopefully you're tracking. So I knit full 5 garter ridge, so the smaller border on 2 in a partial square, 2 squares and the start of a strip. And I am already down to this. This is what I started with. And this is all the yarn that I had for those borders. I am concerned that I am going to run out very quickly of this taupe yarn. I have purple that I can use. So what I think I need to do is knit all of the taupe border, all of the inner borders first. And then the outer border is definitely going to need to be a different color, probably purple, because that's what I have, and that's fine. But I don't think this will even be enough for all of the inside borders, so I'm not sure. But that's not even the biggest problem because I can deal with that. It's already a crazy scrappy project. Here is where I lost my mind and got a little bit stuck and why I decided to put this in timeout. So I made the conscious choice to abandon my Q1 deadline that I had set for myself. Nobody's making me do this, just for me. I decided to abandon that deadline and put this in timeout. I felt like I was too close to it and could not make a good, rational decision. So this is the center square. Yeah, This was also probably the first or second square. It was very early in knitting this blanket. So this was knit at least 6 years ago, maybe a little more. And I have grown as a knitter. I have changed as a knitter. And so there are a couple of things. One, you can tell the gauge is just different. I am still a decently tight knitter. Still err on the side of tight, but oh my word, I was a very tight knitter when I first started. I also bind off differently now. So each of these strips you bind off. And what I do when I bind off, I knit 2 and then knit those 2 together through the back loop instead of passing a stitch over. And I find that it gives more stretch. I don't like the Jenny's stretchy bind off. I've tried that. I don't feel like it's very stretchy. I don't know. I really like doing this method. If I feel like it's going to flare out too much, I'll go down a needle size for the bind off, and that usually fixes it. So I prefer that. And that's what I use now. And it gives more, here's a good example. Like, see how much stretch I have in this? Like, we've got so much stretch even on those inner bind offs. And here we have no stretch at all. This is like so fixed. So it's gauge issues. And this like flary part, I'm not worried about that. It's going to get sewn to the next square. The portion that I've knit since, like, that will stretch. I'm not concerned about that. What I am concerned about. So here is one that I knit later. And these are, adjacent. I don't remember how they are adjacent. But let me just show you the size difference. And I knew that this was going to be an issue, but I did not know it was going to be that much of an issue. So do you see the size difference on these? I have been just kind of sitting with this because I don't think they're going to stitch together very well. The pattern does recommend mattress stitch, which is fine. I don't like seaming no matter what. I'm not a fan, but I will do it because I just will. If the pattern says to do seaming, I'm probably going to do that. So, yeah. So anyways, I am not sure what to do. I have a few options. One, I can just make it work and it will be weird and it will be wonky and know that, like, this blanket is kind of showing how my knitting journey has progressed. And I think if this square was on a corner or something, which I'm not going to move it to a corner. That's not even, we're not doing that. I don't think it would be as bad, but it is the center square. So I could just keep going with it. I could try to kill the acrylic and see if that, and try to block it out a little bit bigger and see if that will work. I don't feel super confident about that either. I could knit a different center square and from other scraps, knit a new center square and just forget this one. I wouldn't like throw it away. I was thinking if I do opt for that, I could probably just knit a back to this and sew it into a cushion cover, which might be kind of fun, might be kind of cute. Or I don't know, I have no idea. I could take out that center square, reconfigure everything, and make a 4x5. Or wait, no, a 6x4. A 6x4 and reconfigure and make just a different size blanket. Yeah, so I have some options. Like, all hope is not lost. I just have felt too close to the project to make a decision. it's one of those things. What I might even do is just start sewing things to this, see how it is, start seaming it. And then if I'm like, this is really bad, rip it back, like rip out the seaming. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things too where it has warmed up a bit here, so I'm not in a huge hurry to have this done now. Now that my Q1 deadline is not happening. So I don't know. And then if I do opt to knit a different square, do I rip out this border so that I have the yarn back? Because I am running so low on that taupe. I don't know. I have no idea. If any of you have thoughts, opinions, an idea that I didn't mention that might work, please leave a comment down below and let me know, because I don't really know what to do with this at this point. I don't love any of my options. What I want is I just want it to magically work out, but I also don't want to put a ton of time and energy into something that's not going to work out, and I don't want it to be so weird that it would look like terrible on my bed or something. So I don't know. Anyways, thoughts, opinions, comments welcomed about that. And it's fine. I mean, I was pretty bummed the day that I realized this wasn't going to go the way that I planned. But we got over it. We moved on. I took some time off knitting too. Just didn't really knit very much for a few days there. And that's okay. Sometimes you just need to take a break. So that is what I have done for that. And I don't have any idea when that's going to get done or what it's going to look like. I still want this done by the end of the year for sure. I do not want to carry this into next year. Yeah, it might even be one of those things that would be a great project for once it gets really hot out and in air conditioning and things. So I'm not sure. But anyways, I did want to end the knitting portion of the podcast, and this will be a very long one. I'm sorry, guys. If you don't like long podcasts, I apologize, but it's been a month. I'm squishing two into one. I wanted to end on a positive note today, and my last whip is one that I feel very hopeful about, and that is my love note, which I have gotten so much progress done on. So the last time that you saw this, I only was up to here. I had just barely started it. And look at her. Look at her. She is so pretty. She's so pretty. And we'll talk about the goal in a second. Let me give you the pattern info. Let me make sure yep, this is the last one. Okay, this is the Love Note by Tin Can Knits. I cast this on December 1st of 2025. I am knitting this on a size US 10 6mm needle and US size 7 4.5mm needle. I am making the size large. And the main color in this, I'm holding two yarns together. I am holding Tina's Twisted Fibers in the colorway Butterfly Wings, which is this, with mohair. I am using both Knit Picks Aloft and Drops Kid Silk. And I don't know the colorways of either. It's a very light, this is one of the Knit Picks balls. They're almost indistinguishable. It's this very, very light purple. I want to say this is Ambrosia, maybe? I don't know. But this is the Knit Picks. The Drops is almost exactly the same. They end up acting identical in this. You cannot tell I have both in here, and you literally cannot tell where I changed. So that's that. And then, yeah, so I think it's really interesting, and that's why I wore this cardigan today, that this, when held with this very pale purple mohair, becomes this. And it is, like, you can kind of tell that they're the same yarn. This is not going the way that I wanted it to, but that's okay. You can tell that they're the same yarn, but this almost is like a muted, almost pastel-like version of the same thing. And I think that's really fun. I have been hesitant to experiment a ton with holding mohair with things just because I feel like if I purchased a yarn that I really liked that yarn. So why would I want to hold it with something and change the way it looks? But I've already knit a sweater in this yarn. I already knit this cardigan in this. I don't need another thing in the same colorway to look the same. So this has been a fun way for me. Almost lost a stitch, but we did not. Fun way for me to experiment with color and I really like how this is coming out. I like that it looks different, but the same. So let's talk about this. I am using just leftovers from this and some leftover mohair, and some of them were full balls of mohair, whatever, from various projects. So this is most of what I have left of the butterfly wings here. And then I have a teeny, I don't know where it went off to. I have like a very small nugget also left of this. So what my plan is, I would really like to have this, ideally this would be done at the end of March so that I would have a finished object in Q1. I have not finished anything this year yet, and it's time. It is time. But I definitely want it done before Easter. I think that this is like, it's a little bit Easter eggy, and I think it'd be a nice thing to wear on Easter. So I am going to try to get that done in time. Which I think is totally doable. My conundrum, it's not even really a conundrum. I just need to make a decision, which is, I'm not good at that. I don't know if I want to knit a full length body or the cropped body. There are two options. The full body is only like 3 inch in my size. It's only 3 inches longer than the cropped body. It's not like it's that much more. So I don't know. I'm not sure yet. What I think I'm going to do this afternoon, hopefully, is pick up my neckline. You have a provisional cast on neckline. Pick that up, knit the neckline, try it on, see how the fit is, see how low that body really comes on my body, how it's fitting, and then decide. And look at how much yarn I have and all of that. I do think I'm going to make the sleeves t-shirt length, so I won't be knitting a ton more sleeve, which is really nice. I did make one error. In the pattern, for certain sizes, you knit the lace pattern 2.5 times, and in other sizes you only knit it 2. I misread, and my size should have only been 2 lace repeats, and I did the 2.5. So there's a little more lace, but it's fine. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. It actually might fit me a little bit better. If I wasn't working from leftovers and had plenty of yarn, I probably would have knit the next size up. I'm knitting the large. I probably would have knit the extra large, but I didn't. So I think this will be a happy medium where I'll have a little more length here to help accommodate for the bust without so much ease. I don't know. I'm probably making no sense, and I probably am making this up in my head, but it's fine. I really think it will be fine, and I am excited. I am loving this. I have knit most of this over the last week and a half. So I knit everything under the underarms yesterday. All of that. And I just love it. It's so soft. It's so light. It's so squishy. I wish you could feel it. It's just so pretty and lovely. So that is my happy knitting news. That's my love note. And gosh, if I could get it done. I told Mason I want it done by the end of the weekend. I don't think that's going to happen, but it would be really cool if it did. We'll see. Okay, if you are just here for the knitting, I have one more crafting thing to talk about very briefly actually, no, I'm going to skip it. I'm going to skip it. We'll talk about it next time. That's fine. But if you were just here for the knitting, thank you so much for joining, and If you didn't like that this was like an hour long, sorry. If you are staying for reading and life, let's keep it going. We'll keep on trucking. Okay, I am probably going to go through this pretty quickly because I've been talking for too long. All right, when we last chatted, I was reading Joyful, The Surprising Power of Ordinary Things to Create Extraordinary Happiness by Ingrid Fettel-Lee. That was a nonfiction design and psychology book, basically about how aesthetics bring joy and principles of that. And so that's kind of just very brief. I started this February 20th. I read it in print. I finished it March 2nd. I gave it 4.75 stars. It was 360 pages long and copyright 2018. I loved this book. I really loved it. I think maybe next year I want to purchase it and underline and highlight and annotate. And I'm not a big annotator or rereader, but I describe my home decor as dopamine decor. I love having a lot of things to look at that spark joy in me, that I don't know, that bring me joy, bring a smile to my face. The best compliment I ever got on my home. We had friends over for the first time. Like, this couple came over for the first time. We've had friends over before. We're not that antisocial. And they were like, wow, there is so much to look at. And I was like, yes, that's what we're going for. And not in a like yucky, cluttered, too much way. At least not to me. Everybody's different. But for me, just in a like little treats, little secret pockets of joy all over the house. That's my favorite thing. Okay, so then I read Revenge of the Wrought Iron Flamingos by Donna Andrews. This is a cozy mystery. This is the third in the Meg Langslow series that I started reading this year. I started this March 2nd, 2026, finished it March 7th, 2026. I did read this in print. It was 293 pages long. I gave it 4 stars, and it was copyright 2001. So this one I'm actually scanning because I need to jog my memory. It's been a few weeks. So this one we find Meg at a colonial craft fair in Williamsburg that her future mother-in-law is running. And she's very, what's a nice way of putting this? She's very particular, and the woman knows what she wants and is very assertive in how to get it. So it's a crazy cast of characters, very fun, very silly. There's a murder. They solve the murder. It's this whole craft fair. They're all dressed completely in like authentic colonial attire. And they like, if you use something that wasn't in that time period, there's the anachronism police. Like, it's actually pretty hilarious. So I liked it. It was fun. It was cute. It wasn't, like an amazing work of literature or anything, but I'm enjoying the series. Then I read It's Not Her by Mary Kubica. This is a thriller. I started this March 7th and finished it March 15th. I read this in print. I gave it 4.25 stars. It was 342 pages and it was copyright this year. The main character's name is Courtney, which I liked. There are not a lot of books with a main character, Courtney. And usually if there is a Courtney in a book, she is like super mean. Movies, literature, I don't know what it is, but there are, I don't know, like growing up, every time there would be a Courtney in media, it was like, oh, she's either super mean or being portrayed in a very negative light. So this one, she was actually portrayed in a pretty positive light. And I was like, oh, finally, justice for Courtney's. Yes. So anyways, basically she and her family are on this peaceful family vacation until it's not peaceful anymore. And she discovers that some of her family has been brutally murdered. And her niece has disappeared, and there's a cloud of suspicion, and a lot of like, is the person who did it, is the murderer in the family, is the murderer someone else, is what is happening? And there's all these different trails kind of that she goes down of suspicion. And then this also is a multi-perspective, multi-timeline book. Not timeline, that's not really, it like bounces back to like the beginning of the trip and earlier in the trip. And you go between her memories and her niece. And I'm not describing this super well, but anyway, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. It was very suspenseful. There was a like twist right at the end that I didn't quite see coming. And that was nice. Next, I read, which if you cannot tell, my favorite genre is thriller. I love a good book with some murder. The next book I read was When I Kill You by B.A. Paris. It's another thriller. I started it March 16th, finished it March 19th. I read it in print, gave it 4.75 stars. It was 304 pages long. Copyright this year. Wow, this one was so good. I could not put it down. So it is another one that goes present and past. But if I remember right, it's mostly single perspective, but there is an exception. And I don't know if I'm using correct terminology, but this is what I call this in my head. So it's about a woman named Nell Masters, and she is fairly certain that she is being followed and she is being watched, and Nell has a past. Nell hasn't always been Nell. Nell used to be somebody else, and it's so good. It is so good how the author ties these things together, and she has secrets, and her secrets start to come out, and she's formed this new life, and she doesn't want the people in her new life to know about her past life. And it's her, so like you have her in the present being watched and like trying to figure out who's watching her and when they're going to come for her and how to prevent this and who in her life could be this person. But then it also goes back to the past, and you find out what led to this and why she changed her identity. And she's a very complicated character. And then sprinkled throughout intermittently, you actually get teeny tiny, like 2 to 3 page chapters from the Watcher, who basically is very creepy and is like, oh, I saw you at the grocery, and and something blah blah blah, but we won't be discussing your favorite jam when I kill you. And it's wow, it is so good. So good. I really liked it. And then I am currently reading No Rest for the Wicked by Rachel Louise Adams. I am almost done. Like, I already filled out my reading journal except for the actual stars and finished date. I have like, I don't know. Oh, why am I not showing you? Here we go. Here it is. And I only have such a teensy portion left. I will finish this later today. So No Rest for the Wicked by Rachel Louise Adams. The tagline says, trick or treat, beware the shadows you'll meet. This one is categorized as thriller horror. Thriller horror. It's obviously, I'm reading it in print. I started this March 19th. It's 329 pages long. It is copyright, I believe. I wrote 2025, but for some reason it didn't seem right to me. Yes, 2025. So this came out last year. And it is about Dr. Dolores Diaz, who is what is the name of it? She performs autopsies. That's her doctor job. And she flies home to Little Horton, Wisconsin from LA. She hasn't been back in 18 years. She left at age 18 years ago. It is around Halloween time, which Little Horton is known for. And like all their business is tourist Halloween business. And she flies back because she gets a call that her father has gone missing and it's not looking good. So she flies home and is reunited with her stepmother, who is not much older than her, and her two half-siblings, one of which she's never even met before. And she comes back and has to confront this past, and so we find out why she left. Do you see? There's a theme here. There's a theme. I love a theme. And it is also bouncing back and forth between present and past. And we go back to Halloween of 2003 when all of these things happened that eventually caused her to leave town. And, which is, I think is why I was confused about the 2025, copyright date, because 18 years from probably 2004, if you're following the timeline of the book, would have been 2022. So I don't know. That's why I was thrown off. But yeah, I really am enjoying this. So it's categorized as thriller horror. And I don't know, maybe I'm not totally up on the difference between thriller and horror. To me, horror usually has, I don't know. It might just be because there is one scene in this book that is more graphic than your normal thriller murder scene. And I'm thinking that's what pushed it into that thriller horror genre. Yeah, that's what my guess would be, because I would not have, if I hadn't had somebody, like if it hadn't been labeled as horror also, I would not necessarily have added that tag, but I think that's probably why. So anyways, it is very good so far. I'm almost done, but it's very good. There's secrets. There's murders. Murders keep popping up. And just the spider webs, the linking, the details. It's good. And then I am also currently reading, all my audiobooks are the same. I know, I haven't audiobooked in much lately. So if you're interested in those, you can go several episodes back and I'll talk about what I'm listening to there. But Mason and I together are reading Guinea Pig Scientists, Bold Self-Experimenters in Science and Medicine by Leslie Dendy and Mel Boring. The genre is, it's nonfiction, science, and it's a YA book. We started it March 10th, and we're doing print. It's only 224 pages long, and I think a lot of that is an index. Like there's a good chunk of an index and notes and stuff. And it's copyright 2005, so it is an older book, but it's like a science history book. So super interesting. We've only read the first chapter so far, and the first chapter was about these scientists from back in, I want to say the 1700s. I'm pretty sure it was the 1700s, could have been the 1800s, somewhere in there, who basically wanted to know what happens when the human body gets really hot. So they would sit in these rooms that were like 180 degrees Fahrenheit, like that kind of thing, and take their temperature and see how long they could last and see what happened. And it was really interesting to read about, because basically no matter how hot the room got, their body temperature remained at about 98.6. So interesting. So yeah, it was really interesting. And I know, how many times can I say interesting? Each chapter is a different like theme, kind of like that, like a different thing. And it's all about scientists who experimented on themselves. So I find that really interesting. I find scientists really interesting and what they will do to answer their question. A lot of dedication, a lot of, I just think it's so fascinating. So anyways, that's what I'm reading. That's where we are with that. Life update. I will keep this pretty brief. I don't know. I've been just kind of in a funk the last month. Like, nothing horrible has happened. Just, kind of, I mean, there are a lot of horrible things going on in the world right now. Especially if you are in the US and countries affected by what's going on in the US. The world is a really scary place right now, and that weighs heavily. We're not going to get super into it, but that weighs heavily. And just, I don't know, I've talked to a lot of people lately who have felt just yucky inside, just like gunky and bleh. So yeah, it's just kind of been a month. The phone thing really threw us for a loop. But it's all good. That problem has been resolved, so that's good. We had a big windstorm come through a couple of weeks ago that took out one of our trees, which was a bummer, but it didn't take out power lines, didn't take out a car or house or anything. Everybody was fine. And it's all been cleaned up and a new tree's been planted and all that good stuff. But that was just unexpected. Oh, what else has happened? I resigned from a committee at work I've been on for 4 years. And that was a really, really big decision for me to make. Nobody forced me to resign or anything like that. It wasn't anything like that. But yeah, I made the decision to choose myself and take some things off my plate. And that was a really big thing. And so I did that. My last meeting on that committee is in a couple weeks. So excited to kind of close that chapter and, go back to just being a regular person at work. I just needed to lighten my load a little bit. Gaming. I've been gaming so much. That is a lot of why my knitting was pretty low. And so far I read 5 books this month, which I think is pretty good for March. March is almost always my lowest month for reading of the year. I think it's usually a lower knitting month too. But I have been gaming so much. My youngest brother bought me a Switch 2, and I have been playing it so much. I got Pocopia when it came out. Mason got it for me as an early birthday gift. I've played so much Pocopia. If you don't know what that is, it is a new Pokemon game, but it's like Pokemon mixed with Minecraft and Animal Crossing, and I am obsessed. It's so much fun. It lights my brain up in the best way. Disney Dreamlight Valley Switch 2 version just came out on Wednesday. I played that a little bit. It runs a lot smoother. So many of the Switch 1 Dreamlight Valley problems are gone, which is so nice. So, and my brother was over last weekend. He stayed with us the whole weekend, and we just video gamed pretty much the whole weekend. It was great. It was super great. And yeah, so I have been gaming a lot. I am a multi-hobbied individual. So I do a lot of different things. The weather here has been up and down. It was 70 something degrees yesterday. Today it's in the low 30s, which is probably part of my gunky, funky feeling. We had the time change a few weeks ago, and it was my only Sunday I had to work, and I had to work time change, and it was just not fun. So I also have had less time off lately, and a lot of other work changes that are affecting me in a negative way. So you know, it's life. It's one of those things. But here in a couple weeks, I have a long weekend to celebrate our anniversary, so that'll be good. I'll talk more about that in a couple weeks when I podcast again. And yeah, so there's lots to look forward to. We've got Easter coming up. Yeah, lots going on, and also nothing going on all at the same time. I am going to stop my rambling here. I am going to give you a pocket of delight. What is my pocket of delight? I think my pocket of delight is I have Switch 2 and I have Pokopia. Honestly, it's that can be my pocket of delight. It's been lovely. I've been so enjoying it. Yeah. And also I've just had so many people in my life just just give me little glimmers of hope over the last couple weeks, just little encouragements, and stuff. And that's been really great. So, whew, okay, we're going to stop here. Do not forget to enter your finished objects into the Giant Mini Mal 2026 for Q1 prizes. Leave me a comment down below if you made it this far. Leave me, oh, we should do an emoji. I don't normally do that, but let's do, all of a sudden every emoji has left my head. You know what? If you have made it this far, leave me, I think there's a unicorn. Leave me a unicorn emoji. That's random. Let's do that. If you made it thus far, leave me a unicorn emoji. Let me know what you're working on. And yeah, oh my gosh, I don't know how to end this. I am so rusty. You take one break and, okay. Anyways, I hope that over the next couple of weeks, you find some time to do whatever brings you joy, whether that is knitting or crocheting or running or weaving or playing Pokopia or whatever it is that brings you joy. I hope you find some time for that in your little corner of paradise. And I will be over here knitting and gaming away in my little corner of paradise. I will see you next time, friends. Bye.